Cutter's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Devin welcoming you to another Degrassi Unpopular Opinions / hot takes. I know you'll say that, this is not an unpopular opinion, but it counts as a hot take. It's the obsession over Jack SImpsons. Like, honestly. So basically, a lot of people have an obsession over Jack SImpsons, basically because of a few things. I'll get to that later, but a character development. Basically, Jack was born in season 3 of Degrassi Next Gen to Spike and Snake and to Big Sister Emma. So basically, you know, he's a decent infant and all that. In fact, he kind of gets a big role in season 4 when he's at the park with Snake, like getting ice cream and all that, like in his little stroller. And basically, that's when Snake sees Olander and Paige together, and basically says that why is Olander being so bad towards Paige and all that. Like, Jack gets a few episodes and all that, like seasons 5, 6, and 7 and all that. But basically, after season 7, I think he falls off the map. But a lot of people said that if Degrassi ever came back after next class, that basically he'll be a high school freshman, and basically, it'll be the ins and outs of Degrassi, and basically dealing with problems with himself, and also the fact that his dad's the principal. Principal Simpson. If Principal Simpson is still principal. So it's like, is it warranted and all that? About Jack SImpsons becoming the new #1 guy? I mean, it makes sense because after Degrassi High and then their 9-year hiatus, they went back to, when they went to Next Gen, they basically gave Emma the major role and all that. Because, that was Spike's kid. So yeah, the chain of command works out. There have been plenty of Jack SImpsons moments in Degrassi Reddit. But basically, someone said, am I the only one that forgot that Spike had a second child after Emma years later? And basically mentions the lack of times he was mentioned, all that. Someone said they missed the opportunity to have Jack on the show as a student in real time. He'd be too old now. And someone says, it depends on the time warp. He was born in 2003, which means he will turn 18 graduating school high this year. But there were 8 years of Next Gen where Degrassi had a weird time, like, how many seasons are in a school year and all that. Basically, there were times that every year would be stretched over 2 years, like 2 seasons per school year. So take away those are 4 years, Jack would be 14. So there's still a chance. All that. There's still time for a reboot. And basically, someone said, the only thing I remember was when Caitlin was trying to tell Spike about her feelings for Joey, and Spike was trying to get Jack's picture taken with Sand, and when the picture came out, all you could see was Caitlin and Spike. You couldn't see Jack at all. That's a good way to describe his role, actually. And they said that basically he was a plot device for Ella to feel like the neglected older kid. And someone said that when Zoe came to Degrassi, the last time he was mentioned, is that Snake told her that he and his son watched West Drive sometimes. Yeah, basically, Jack was not mentioned much in the show. It gives the feeling that, Jack was blackholed and all that. I mean, here's the thing, though. After Emma left for college in season 8 of the show, you got yourself a few things to think about. And to think about it is that, they don't really talk about much about the Snake and Spike dynamic after Emma leaves. For one thing, though, sorry, I thought something was outside my window. But for one thing is that, when Connor got put into the Simpson home and all that, it was to replace Emma. Spike and Snake needed somebody in the house. The kids are gone. But it's like, where's Jack at and all that? Like, Jack doesn't really get a lot of time on the show and all that. He was seen like some points from seasons 3 to 7, and basically, it's like, why would Jack not be at the attack? But anyhow, so yeah, a lot of people reckon about Jack. In fact, there was somebody who actually went through to the IMDb or Internet Database. It's like, and basically made up a season of Degrassi dealing with Jack Simpson and all that. I can't really tell you the storylines because I think that it was blocked off or something like that. But anyhow, it was funny. Like, Jack wasn't there and all that. And basically, they pretended, like, once Emma left, that basically Spike and Snake were all by themselves. But I mean, no, they had Connor, and Connor was basically there. But they forgot to mention about Connor, like, being at the Simpson household. I think after season 10 or 11, when he gets ejected for his underwear stealing stuff, basically a few years later, well, he comes back the next season, and then basically it's never completely established if Connor's back at the Simpson house or not. Maybe Connor doesn't go to the Simpson house. Maybe he's living somewhere else. I don't know. They just didn't show Connor's home life, being with Snake and all that. So yeah, it's confusing with Jack Simpson and all that. And he would be a good character and all that. But it's like, they forget all about these things. Like, they turned Angie, who was played by not Cassie Steele, Alex Steele, Cassie Steele's sister, who was the one who played Manny, and basically made her into a different girl, Tori Santa Maria, who was a beauty queen contestant. Basically, it was like, why couldn't they just make Angela into the show? Like, all that. But, Joey moved to Calgary, but maybe she moved to Toronto for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, they black hole Jack at the worst possible time, and people forgot about him. But people remember. They're like, wait a minute, this Jack guy, maybe he should be on the show. But yeah, I just don't get it either with Jack. It's not that I'm angry about Jack and all that, but it just doesn't make sense from some people's point of view. But anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Goodbye.